This is a question I'd like to pose to all three of you. We'll start with you, Ms. Engelhardt. What do you see as the main obstacles for the Navy when it comes to innovating in the unmanned space? I don't need to tell you or anybody else in this room that the DoD and the services have a long list of priorities, but finite dollars and resources. So from your vantage point, what are kind of the main obstacles to advancing the Navy's unmanned capabilities?
Yeah, so I would like to say that it's predominantly culture, right? We have been, for the longest time, building very exquisite capabilities that are around for 30 years, right? So that's kind of the going in position. So changing that mindset of how do I do something fast at scale that is fieldable, and understanding building the doctrine, right, at almost simultaneously with innovative tech is a little bit unusual, and we haven't had to do that in decades. So I think the biggest thing that we see in our challenge is, how do I move money? How do I get contracts in place? And then how do I build an industrial base to support that?
As we watch the unmanned ecosystem move so rapidly, how do we ensure that our organization can keep up with it? And how do we ensure that our manning and training and equipping of our ships can keep up with the pace at which this new innovation is moving? So that's one of the challenges. And then the other thing you mentioned, Dorothy, that I watched firsthand was, how do you fund things that are moving so rapidly and get them out at pace? And so those were some of the challenges that we worked through at Task Force 59.
When you talk about unmanned and AI, those are big words. Like, what does that really mean? And what Task Force 59 to us was really being able to do is to show what's the reality. What is the limit of unmanned? How do you employ AI? I'd like to tell a vignette with Admiral Cooper. So Admiral Cooper is the old Fifth Fleet commander. He's now the Deputy CENTCOM commander. So he and I are in a operations center, and there's two screens. There's one over here that's got 100 contacts, and we're in Jordan and trying to make sense of these contacts in a traditional way. And you can imagine, if you've been in that, there's a lot of phone calls, there's radar going on, and people are trying to make sense of what the contacts are. On this side, you've got 7 sensors integrated, porting data into a data repository, running algorithms on it. And the AI is quickly saying, of those 100 contacts, these are the 15 you care about for a bunch of different reasons. And oh, by the way, you missed these other 10. So as an operational commander, he turned to me and it's like, wow, that's what AI does. Yeah. And so the point is, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, if you had asked me, is AI important? I would have said, oh, absolutely. And if you'd asked me why, I would have said, I have no idea, but I know I'm supposed to say that, right? But now, I think now I understand, okay, that's really what it does. And so to answer your question, so you have a guy who just came back from the front lines, as it were. He is experimenting on a day-to-day basis with a systems of systems. So he's got unmanned assets in all 3 domains. He's got mesh networks, he's got Starlink, he's got AI. And so you are now seeing actually what all this can do.